Have you ever said to yourself that you need to lose weight, but then don't actually do anything that you need to do in order to lose weight? Or at the very minimum, you don't stay consistent enough to do it. You know that you need to be eating less calories and burning off more. You know you need to be going to the gym and doing the exercises that you need to do. You know ideally that you need to be going to the gym. You know that you need to start improving your activity, going for more walks and just staying a little bit more active. You just don't do it. You just think to yourself, I can't be bothered, or I don't want to do it, or you find little things that are affecting your ability to do so. Well, there's a chance that you may be in a position now where you're not actually uncomfortable enough to justify doing anything about it. And it might seem like a bit of a weird thing to think about, because if you're currently in a position where you feel like you need to lose weight, then you're going to be uncomfortable to a certain extent. Obviously, the thought of not feeling confident with your own body, not being able to do shit that you needed to do, and not being able to do things that you would do otherwise, it really does scream that doesn't make you feel comfortable. But there's a chance that you're just not as uncomfortable as what you need to be in order to make a change. And this is known as the region beta paradox. Now, the region beta paradox is a phenomenon whereby people who are more uncomfortable tend to recover faster than people who aren't as uncomfortable. Now, you can apply this to real life and human behaviour. So think of it like this. Imagine you're in a job which you know that you dislike, you feel is a chore, and you've kind of got to drag yourself out of bed every day to get there. But you are not uncomfortable enough to justify leaving. You're getting a relatively okay salary, the people at work are pretty decent, your manager isn't too much of an arsehole, but the job itself is just a little bit monotonous and boring. Because you are uncomfortable, but still slightly comfortable with some of the aspects that are happening, you're not going to justify finding a new job. You're in an unhappy place with your job, but you're not so unhappy that you can justify trying to be happier. It's only after something happens with your job, which is the straw that breaks the camel's back, causing you to be even more uncomfortable and more unhappy than what you are right now, which will allow you to justify trying to find a new job. So, funnily enough, being more uncomfortable is going to allow you to do things to make you feel more comfortable than what you are now. That's why it's called a paradox, because in order to be more happy, you need to be less happy. And this is the exact same with weight loss. There's going to be people here watching who know that they probably want to be losing weight, but don't want it enough to actually justify doing the shit that you need to do. I was actually speaking to someone on Instagram the other day who basically said to me, have you got any tips for weight loss? And funnily enough, we actually had a chat earlier in the year about her potential coming on board the team. She wasn't in a current situation where she could justify coming on board the team, but I gave her a whole range of advice, a whole range of resources that she could potentially use in order to try and lose weight. So she has all of the resources, she has all of the knowledge, she has all the shit that she needed to do, but she just didn't apply it. And I thought that it was potentially down to the fact that she's not as uncomfortable as what she can be. She's not so overweight that she needs to justify losing weight. She's not so unhappy with her life that she needs to justify making it happier, which is kind of annoying because it's your brain basically putting off making a change because it thinks that it's actually happier than what it is. You know what I mean? So the way to counteract this is try and force yourself to be a little bit more uncomfortable. And it really kind of annoys me about today's society, because today's society, we try and do everything we can to avoid being uncomfortable, to try and avoid any kind of consequences. But funny enough, you probably need a consequence in your life in order to justify making a change. You need to be accountable to something, because as soon as you're accountable to something, you have something worth losing if you don't do the shit that you need to do. Take it like this. If you've got somebody that, feels like they need to lose weight, but aren't uncomfortable enough to justify going to the gym 3-4 times a week, to create a calorie deficit, to start improving their activity, then you need a bit of accountability. If I instead held a gun up to that person's head and said to them, right, you need to do all the shit that you need to do, so I'm going to pull the trigger. Now, that has made that person very uncomfortable, and therefore that person, I guarantee you, will do everything that they need to do in order to start losing weight, because they have the consequence of me pulling a trigger. Now, obviously that's a little bit of an extreme example, but it's still an example nonetheless. That person has been made to feel more uncomfortable than what they are now, and therefore they can justify doing the shit that they need to do. I'm not saying that you need to go onto the dark web and hire a hitman. I'm not saying that you need to put yourself in a dangerous position. I'm just saying that you probably need to create some kind of accountability or consequence for not doing the thing that you need to do, i.e. investing into a coach, i.e. dedicating a certain amount of time, i.e. thinking about your health. Notice that obese people with really bad health issues tend to lose a shit ton of weight because their doctor has literally told them, if you do not lose weight, you are going to die. And if that doesn't scream uncomfortable, then I don't know what will. You need to get accountability to somewhere. You need to have some kind of consequence for not doing what you need to do, else you'll never have justification for doing what you need to do. Hire a coach, spend some money at a relatively decent gym, start to invest into the food that you're buying, dedicate a certain amount of time to going to the gym, to going on walks, to cooking meals, because investing time is a consequence nonetheless. You're never going to get your time back, so it's going to be a waste if you don't do the shit that you need to do. Put yourself in a position where you feel more uncomfortable than what you do now, and I guarantee you that you are going to make progress. I hope this video has helped. If you did enjoy it, please feel free to give it a like. If you've got any questions that you might have, please feel free to leave a comment, because I'd be more than happy to have a chat with you, and subscribe to this channel in order to catch the next one. And if you want any more free fitness or fat loss based content without any of the typical bullshit in the industry at the moment, feel free to follow my Instagram at k.p_health. Wicked. Have a good one.